So it's a cold winter's day, the sun's just going down there in my front garden. This is a bike I got yesterday or 2 days ago, but it was raining so I didn't take it out till this morning. This is the Cube Hybrid Touring 500 bike, and it's a very nice electric bike. Maybe it's the Cube Touring Hybrid 500 actually, I think which way around it is. But in any event, it's around about, it's a budgetty sort of price range for it. You can get these for around sort of 1600, 1700. I think the list price might be something just around 2000. It's very similar to the Hybrid one. You can get a Hybrid one 400 for about, I think, 1300, 1400 pounds or so. This has got more range. It's got a 500 watt battery, so 20% more range, and it's also, this is the, I think, Iridium edition, which has a few little add-ons, relatively minor. The biggest one of which is that I think the display is an Intuvia rather than a Purion display to couple with the Bosch motor. I don't know if you know about Activeline, but that's the Bosch Activeline unit. It's a relatively small unit, more compact. It's very efficient. It's 20 to 30% more efficient in terms of range than the Performance CX. It's geared 1-to-1. It's brand new, third generation, so 2018 I think it was put on the market. So it's so this year's model. It's got zero resist, so there's no resist at all. If you turn it off and you pedal, there's no gearing through it. It's a 1-to-1 ratio. It's a very, very nice. It's probably the best current motor you can have for long distance touring bikes. So it's a very, very nice bit of kit. And obviously coupled with the 500 watt, which is the largest Bosch battery, you're getting a lot of range on this thing. On sort of flat tarmac routes, then this thing capable of a couple of 100 kilometres of range on eco. Now eco is a 40% boost. I was on this morning, I got up at dawn, went down the River Mersey on a tarmac route. It was misty and very beautiful. And I was pedalling half the time. I didn't have any assist, and when I wanted some assist, slight incline, or just because I wanted to see what it was like, I put it on eco mode, and that's a 40% boost, and it just definitely feels like there's a friendly ghost giving you a good shove permanently in the back. I find it very useful actually when you're going through gates and you come to a stop to manoeuvre through cycle gates and the like, or roads, and you want to get going again. It's excellent then in just giving you a little boost to get you spinning up fast again. But it's the range is incredible on this. It's a proper touring bike. You could certainly expect, even with eco on the flat, you could expect to get 150 kilometres out of it, and if you're pedalling a bit without using the battery at all, you could get even more. As for how it performs on hills, it won't be as good as this Performance CX. If you're real mountain, it's not for real mountain bikes. This motor, but certainly I flew up relatively steepish hill at the end. As if I was on a rubber band on turbo mode. So. And then the gearing's relatively low as well, so I don't imagine it'll be difficult, as long as you're not very, very, if you're very old, perhaps if you're sort of 75 and trying to use it, obviously you can't turn the pedals as fast, because what it does is rely to a certain extent on your power, and then matching or increasing your power, because it's a pedelec, so it requires you turning it's not a moped, not an electric moped, so it doesn't give you power without you putting effort in, with the sole exception of walk mode, which you can use it to walk, at a few miles an hour, or if you're going up a hill, or if your battery's really low, or if you're going over terrain that simply can't be cycled over. So there is a possibility, or if you've got a flat tire, I suppose. So there is a possibility of walking alongside with it. It's a relatively heavy bike. My old Marin mountain bike I used to use was steel and pretty heavy at 18 kilograms. This feels like it's about 25 kilograms in that range, especially with a gear on it. But it's a beautiful bit of kit. It really just feels great to. Obviously, there's not so much roll resistance on it. It's got hybrid tyres, 28-inch, so you can pedal it. You can pedal it no problem at all. Certainly downhill and on the flat, on decent roads, decent tarmac surface. You can pedal if you want to without bothering to use the motor at all, and it's fine as that. As long as you're moderately fit. Just going around the side so we don't get so much glare. I suppose we'll start at the back and we'll see what we've got. So starting at the back, we have a fully integrated pannier rack with a clip. This is a nice frame. It's one aluminium frame. You can see it's just one frame, really nicely done. And the rack attaches as part of it. It's integral to it. So it's solid. It's a really nice rack. This is a 9-speed Shimano Diori derailleur. So that's fine. Absolutely okay, coupled with rapid shift, Shimano rapid shift, and there's the 9 gears. I'm used to 21 speed mountain bike, obviously had a slightly sort of more finessed and overly and wider range, but it was fine. One, your bottom gear, you'll certainly go up any hill. It's certainly spinning the wheels at an incredibly high cadence, just going uphill on there, and 9 is relatively comfortable unless you're trying to break any sort of on the road speed limits, in which case you might want to adjust it a little bit. One of the benefits of the 9-speed derailleur is, of course, it's reliable, it's less wear on the chain, it's cheaper if anything goes wrong than the 11-gear ones. So it's fine. The tyres are Schwalbe road cruisers. They've got K-guard on them, so there's some sort of puncture protection. I would probably be thinking about swapping those out for Marathon Pluses, because I think you can get them at the moment for 20 quid each, so 28-inch Marathon Pluses, 20 quid each. I'd stick those on just because I hate punctures, and as I've used a heavy-duty Marin mountain bike with suitable tyres for 25 years and hadn't had a puncture for 25 years, I don't want to go back to being a 17-year-old kid having to remember how to faff around with all the tyre levers and the like, especially if it's a back tyre. The front tyre pops off. Obviously the front tyre here is a quick release, so it wouldn't be so bad, but the back tyre I can imagine is a right pain. Okay, so that's the back end of it. The motor we've already sort of covered. The bike, you can get a bottle cage on. That was 12 quid. It had to be a side entry one. I think it's a specialised bike bottle cage there, because the normal ones weren't quite fitting because it's quite low. The fixings are relatively tight because of the motor there. But that's fine. You can't get a U-lock bolt on just because of the size of the way the frame works and the battery. I couldn't anyway, so unfortunately that means if you're going to go out and ever leave the bike, you need to obviously U-lock it with a good gold secure U-lock. Then you're going to have to either have it in a backpack or you're going to have to put it in some panniers. I think I'll go the pannier route because I don't fancy a 2-kilogram gold secure U-lock on my back all day. It's not the idea of comfort touring. So that's fine. The seat is a Sala Royale aerial, isn't it? So that's a nice enough seat, very comfortable. And this is a suspension seat post, so we've got a bit of movement on. That's nice. I don't plan to be hammering it over areas that are really going to need it, and I imagine I'll mostly use the lockout on the front. The front's got hasn't got air shocks. Obviously, it's just got a spring, 60mm of travel, I think, on it. You can lock it manually. There's no remote or lock from the top end. So that's fine, that's locked, and that's obviously unlocked. I'll keep it for a bit, but I don't think it makes a huge amount of difference. Say on what I travel on, I probably don't really need it. I can probably lock it. Moving to the battery. The battery's in here. This is probably the cheapest bit of the bike. The rest, it looks really solidly built, but this is a plastic. The battery itself, if you know the Bosch 500 batteries, they are waterproof, so. Not really a huge problem that it looks a bit cheap plastic, but it just I'd rather have had that brushed aluminium or something. That would have been nicer. You pop the button, off it comes, and you can then it's unlockable, so you have to unlock the battery to take it out. I won't bother to show you because I haven't got 3 hands. I need to hold that with one and then take it off with another and still film. But I'm sure you've all seen a battery being taken out before, so it's not that exciting. You can also charge the battery on the bike, so you can charge on the bike through there, or you can take it off. As the batteries are worth 500 or 600 quid. Quite nickable, I would probably be taking it off, I think, most of the time. Also, if you're going to store it somewhere, assuming you're storing it somewhere that's in an outhouse or something that's not necessarily 100% secure. The other, I'm not making a mess of that, I'll sort it out later. The other thing you can do with the Intuvia for security is the Intuvia display pops off. When it's popped off the bike, the motor won't run. Obviously somebody could find another Intuvia, so it won't totally stop them stealing your bike, but it's good for security. If you're going to the shops or something, you can just take it off. The Purion is the other one, but that doesn't have the facility. That's fixed on the bike, the Purion, which is a slightly lower end model. You can also, with a screw, fix that to the bike if you want to, but unless you're a shop owner putting it on display in a shop, I'm not sure why you'd want to fix it. So, done the seat post, done the battery, fine, 500 watts, said. Yes, if you're going to store it somewhere cold, you should be keeping it warm for a long time. You need to be keeping it away from long sort of cold weather over winter if you're not using it. So we have the front end here. We have there's 3 spaces there I could drop down if I wanted a more sort of aggressive riding posture, which is always a possibility. This is not an adjustable stem. You could put an adjustable stem on if you wanted to. I do like these. I like these grips. The comfort. These I think are some sort of secure comfort grips. It's just I can rest the palm of my hand on them when I'm riding from quite a high position, so that's quite nice. Comfy. You're not getting the grip issues that you might get if you just had grips. So I like those. They're obviously not a big thing. The bell similarly is just a black bell. Well, it goes ding. What do you want to know? It's got speed shifters we've already mentioned. It's 700 millimeters, 70 centimeters wide. So that means going through gates and things. You'll need to sometimes bike gates and things. You'll need to just turn the handlebars to the side to get through. And then the rest of it's in the interior display, which is a lovely display. Obviously, it comes on there. You can adjust it. Let me see. So there. You can get the information either from pressing change the information button, or from pressing the information button on there, of course, which is the same thing. The range estimator is obviously not functioning at the moment because I've not got it turned on. I've not got any. It looks at your trip and tries to work out the sort of terrain you're going over and continually updates how much range it thinks it's got left before the battery runs out. Now, obviously, if you've been going along flat and along a valley, and you're about to go up a hill, then don't take the range estimate to heart. But it will give you help as you're going up the hill. It'll tell you how long it'll take if you keep going up at that sort of terrain. So it's useful to keep that in mind. I only done 7 kilometres on the bike, so I've not done very much at all. And it's 3:25 p.m. You can set it to 24 hour. You can set it to German. You can do all sorts of things. The other thing, you can obviously from here you can move up and down, so that moves the power from off to eco mode. Not focusing, not focusing too well on that. There's the eco mode, tour mode, sport mode, turbo mode. So those are your 4 modes for this bike. I think the Performance CX mountain bike has a mountain bike mode. This obviously is a touring bike, so it just has sport instead of that. To be honest, eco mode's really good at just giving you a push along the flats. Tour, I think you might use for sort of slight inclines or up a bit, and turbo's really for just blitzing it up the steepest hill you can find. Other lights, yes, the other add-ons that come with this are 2 lights that are not very exciting, but they're perfectly happy lights. I'm not going to cycle in the dark anyway, so these are really just for daytime use, for people who can see you better. The lights come front light and a back light, obviously, which is fine. And the mud guards, they're not aluminium, they're plastic, but then it's okay. Trying to think what else to say, really. It's a lovely bike. It all feels really well put together, very solid. Let me just turn that off. And yeah, I'm very happy with it. It's in the sort of budgetish range, and I suppose one other thing, it's got a hydraulic Shimano hydraulic brakes on it, hydraulic brake system. So that's obviously to be expected. The interior display's also got a USB charger on the side there. I suppose for things like phones if you're desperate. Don't really know. And probably for updates as well, I imagine, if you want to do hardware updates and things. There's a walk button there, so you can set it up to walk. If you hold it down, you can walk, as I said before. That's turned off on some bikes, but not turned off on this bike, so you can use it. Otherwise, there you go. It's a great bit of kit. It's got tremendous range, solidly built. It's great fun to cycle with. I think it's very good value for money. I suppose you can get downgrade a bit if you want the very, very best sort of budget value. I would look at the Cube Touring 1 400. Just so you know, you can pick up for around about sort of £1,400, the 2019 version. But all in all, it's a great bit of kit.